Today we're taking a deep dive into Zazen. That's Z-A-Z-E-N, written with these characters. It's basically the beating heart of Zen Buddhism.
It really is.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack its core meaning, trace its fascinating history, and sort of demystify the actual practice.
Yeah, how do you do it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then explore its deep philosophy, see how it stacks up against other kinds of meditation, and maybe give you some practical steps if you're curious to begin.
Right.
What practitioners often say is that Zazen isn't about getting something like peace or enlightenment. It's more the direct expression of your true nature. It's about being yourself, completely, in harmony with everything around you, realizing the completeness that's already inside.
And what's truly profound there, I think, is how the sheer simplicity of the term seated meditation, well, it kind of hides this really radical, non-acquisitive discipline.
Non-acquisitive, meaning not trying to gain anything.
Exactly. It's a method, really, of consciously stripping away all the mental chatter. Those conceptual filters, the judgments, the stories we constantly build about ourselves and the world.
The narrative.
Yeah, the narrative. So we can finally experience life exactly as it is, moment by moment, without the usual static.
Okay, so let's unpack that radical simplicity you mentioned. Zazen literally translates to seated meditation. Simple enough.
On the surface.
And it's absolutely central to Zen Buddhism. I mean, they often call Zen the meditation school of Buddhism, right? For a reason.
It's foundational.
But like you hinted, it's much more than just sitting still or trying really hard to concentrate. It's aimed at realizing this completeness that is already present.
That's the core.
You could think of it as a path of radical directness. A discipline of peeling back all those layers, the ideas, the judgments, the stories, to see things without those filters we usually have up.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the fundamental attitude of Zazen is really one of direct, unmediated investigation.
Unmediated, like no middleman.
Kind of. It's often described as the study of the self, but crucially not in an intellectual or analytical way. You're not thinking your way through it.
Oh.
See, Zen, maybe more than some other traditions, consistently prioritizes direct personal experience over just, studying scriptures or doctrines.
So experience first.
Absolutely. Which means the practice itself is the teaching. The answers aren't found by reading a manual. They're revealed in the very act of sitting wholeheartedly. Just doing it. By letting go of expectations of trying to get somewhere, you start to experience yourself and the world in a profoundly new way. It's rooted in this really powerful idea that the human mind, your mind, is inherently free, spacious, vibrant, and Zazen is the direct method to uncover that true nature.
This isn't some newfangled idea, right?
Yeah.
This whole journey of direct realization, it stretches back millennia.
Oh, absolutely. Way back.
Zazen's ultimate origin traces directly to Prince Siddhartha Gautama, who we know as the historical Buddha. He reached enlightenment after, 49 days of meditation under the Bodhi tree?
That's the story, yeah. Deep, sustained sitting.
And Zazen is seen as a direct continuation of that very act, which makes it like truly the heart of the spiritual path. That deep meditative absorption he experienced, that's Taya in Sanskrit. Which apparently leads to samadhi, profound stillness, and then ultimately prajna, which is enlightened wisdom.
It's fascinating how this practice traveled. The teachings of China were brought over to China probably around the 5th century by this figure, Bodhidharma.
Ah, Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of Zen in China.
That's him, where dhyana became Chan. And Bodhidharma was famously radical. He said things like, not thinking about anything is Zen.
Whoa, okay.
And even more profoundly, to know that the mind is empty is to see the Buddha, which points directly to that pivotal Mahayana concept of śūnyatā, emptiness.
Emptiness. That sounds a bit bleak.
It can sound that way, but it's not nihilism. It's the understanding that all phenomena, everything, including our solid sense of me, are empty of any fixed, independent nature.
So everything's connected.
Exactly. It reveals their radical interconnectedness and constant change, impermanence.
Okay, so after Bodhidharma.
Well, later you have Fuining, the 6th patriarch. Amazing story, and a literate woodcutter who became this monumental figure. He really emphasized the inherent purity of one's own nature.
The idea that we're already fundamentally okay.
Kind of, yeah. And he defines Zazen as integrating that inner realization with outer equanimity, bringing the insight into how you live.
Right, and then Japan.
Then fast forward to 13th century Japan, you get Dōgen, the founder of the Suchi school, and he offered this truly revolutionary insight. Zazen, when you practice it sincerely, well, it is the direct expression of enlightenment.
Not just a way to enlightenment, but enlightenment itself.
Precisely. Not just a means to an end. This sutra tradition spread, influenced Japanese arts like ink painting, garden design.
Zen gardens.
Zen gardens, yeah. And eventually, much later, through figures like D.T. Suzuki and Alan Watts, it made its way to the West, offering this unique path to whole new audiences.
So, okay, we've got the history, the core idea.
Yeah.
How do you actually do Zazen? How do you embody this practice?
Right, the practicalities. Well, Zazen is seen as a truly holistic discipline. Body, breath, and mind aren't separate things to manage. They're integrated, inseparable.
Integrated.
In fact, the posture itself is considered an expression of the awakened mind. So it's not just about sitting up straight because it's good for you.
You mean something.
It embodies the practice. So you start by finding a quiet, clean space, wear loose clothing, something comfortable.
And the setup. I've seen the mats and cushions.
Yeah, traditionally you sit on a zabuton, that's the flat square mat, and a zafu, which is the firm round cushion.
Okay.
And the key is to perch on the forward third of that zafu. This tilts your pelvis slightly, elevates your hips.
So your knees can rest on the mat.
Exactly. It creates a stable three-pointed base, your two knees and your behind. Very solid.
But what if you can't do lotus pose? My knees would scream.
Yeah, mine too, probably. And the beauty is, while there are traditional seated positions like full lotus, half lotus, or the Burmese position, or even kneeling posture called sisa, there's absolutely no esoteric hierarchy. Comfort that allows for stability and uprightness is paramount. The most important physical thing is maintaining an upright spine.
Spinal alignment.
That's the single most critical element. Keep your spine straight, naturally upright. Imagine the crown of your head reaching for the ceiling, chin slightly tucked. Ears aligned over your shoulders, nose in line with your navel.
Direct but not stiff.
Exactly. Erect yet relaxed. This isn't just about discipline, though. That posture naturally allows for deep, easy abdominal breathing, which is key.
Okay, what about hands?
The hands form what's called the cosmic mudra, or Hokaijin. Palms up in your lap, your dominant hand holding the other, and the tips of your thumbs lightly touching.
Forming an oval.
Yeah, forming a gentle oval, as if you were supporting a single, delicate sheet of paper between them. Don't press hard.
Where do you rest them?
This mudra rests against your lower abdomen, maybe a couple of inches below the navel. This area is called the hara in Japanese, considered the body's energetic center.
Interesting. Any other refinements?
Just a couple. Eyes are traditionally kept open, not closed.
Open, really? I always pictured eyes closed.
It's common in Zazen. Lowered gaze, maybe 45 degrees down, soft, unfocused, not staring, just resting the eyes. Helps stay present, less likely to drift off into dreaminess.
Okay.
Mouth gently closed, tongue tip resting lightly on the upper palate just behind the teeth. This helps reduce saliva, minimizes the need to swallow, which can be a distraction.
Got it. Body set, now what?
Now attention turns to the breath. The vital link, right, between body and mind.
So deep breathing exercises.
Not necessarily exercises. In Zazen, you generally allow your breath to be completely natural. Just observe the gentle rising and falling of the abdomen down in the hara.
Just watch it.
Just be aware of it. Sometimes, though, especially if your mind feels scattered or agitated when you first sit down, taking one or two long, slow, complete exhalations can really help settle the energy. Let everything release on the out-breath. Then just let the breath find its own natural rhythm.
Okay. And what if your mind is still all over the place, thoughts flying everywhere?
Which they will be. That's normal. For beginners or even experienced sitters on a busy mind day, a common technique is susokukan, counting the breath.
How does that work?
You silently count each exhalation. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. Then you just start again at 1. Simple, but the crucial part is this. When your mind inevitably wanders off thinking about lunch, that email, whatever.
Which it will, constantly.
Constantly. You simply acknowledge it. Oh, thinking. And without any judgment, no frustration, you gently, kindly bring your attention back and restart the count at 1.
The returning is the key.
That repeated act of returning again and again and again is the practice. That's what builds focus and stability, what they call joriki, or spiritual power.
Okay. But what about the thoughts themselves? Are we trying to get rid of them?
That's probably the biggest misconception. Many people think meditation is about stopping thoughts, but your brain is like a thought factory. That's what it does. Thoughts are natural.
So don't fight them.
Exactly. Zazen aims to change your relationship to them. Think of the still pond analogy. Your mind is like clear water. Thoughts are like wind creating ripples on the surface.
Right.
The goal isn't to magically stop the wind. It's to stop engaging with the ripples, stop stirring them up. You become a neutral observer.
Like watching clouds.
Perfect analogy. Let thoughts pass like clouds in the sky. You don't grab onto them, you don't push them away, you just let them drift by. Eventually the wind of engagement dies down, the sediment settles, and the mind's natural clarity reveals itself.
I see. So once you can count to 10 without drifting off too much, what's next?
Well, once the basic level of concentration is there, the practice often deepens into Shikantaza. This means just sitting.
Just sitting.
It's the heart of Stushzen, also called mokusha, or silent illumination. Here, there's no specific object of focus anymore, not even the breath, really.
So, what do you focus on?
Nothing specific. Everything and nothing. It's about maintaining a brightly alert, open, non-judgmental awareness, attentive to the totality of the present moment sounds, sensations, the feeling of sitting, thoughts arising and passing without latching onto any of it.
Sounds hard.
It's subtle. It's called non-thinking, hishuri, which doesn't mean blankness. It's beyond both thinking and trying not to think. It's allowing the mind to just be, free from getting tangled in concepts.
Letting go of everything.
Letting go of everything, even the desire for enlightenment or peace or anything else. In Shikantaza, the practice itself is considered the full expression of the enlightened mind.
Wow, it's a big shift.
It's a profound shift from doing meditation to simply being awareness.
And you mentioned walking meditation.
Yeah.
Kinhin.
Right. Kinhin. That's usually done between periods of sitting Zazen. It bridges the stillness of the cushion to movement.
How did it work? Slow walking.
Very slow, very deliberate walking, often just a few steps forward, pause, breathe, few steps forward. Your hands are usually held in a specific mudra, and your attention stays on the physical sensations of walking, synchronized with the breath. It keeps the meditative awareness going, connecting formal sitting to activity.
Okay, so we're sitting, we're breathing, we're maybe just being aware. What does this actually mean philosophically? How does it change how we see things?
Well, Zazen facilitates this really profound philosophical shift. It helps us transcend what's often called the subject-object split.
Subject-object, like me versus the world.
Exactly. Our ordinary way of perceiving reality is dualistic. There's a separate self inside, looking out at a distinct outside world. Zen sees the split as a fundamental root of suffering, of alienation.
Yeah.
Zazen works to unify what we normally experience as separate body, breath, mind, world. As you deepen your practice, especially in Shikantaza, that feeling of a fixed, separate I can start to dissolve.
Dissolve, what's left?
It becomes simply sitting, or just awareness. There isn't a sitter separate from the sitting. This is touching on samadhi, that direct experience of underlying unity.
Like that Dōgen quote.
Exactly, Dōgen said, to study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be awakened by all things.
Forgetting the self leads to awakening by everything else.
Wow. It takes us right into core Mahayana concepts, especially śūnyatā, emptiness.
We touched on that. Not nihilism, but...
Right. It's the radical teaching that all phenomena, all things, thoughts, sensations, even the self, are empty of any intrinsic, independent, fixed self-nature. Svabhava is the Sanskrit term.
So nothing exists on its own.
Everything is interdependent. Everything arises together, is constantly in flux. This points directly to our fundamental interconnectedness and the reality of impermanence. Nothing is static.
And Zazen helps you see this.
It becomes like a practical laboratory for experiencing śūnyatā. By just observing the constant arising and passing away of thoughts and sensations, you realize firsthand their transient, empty nature.
They just come and go.
Exactly. And you see that the sense of a solid, continuous I is also just a flickering stream of these transient events. Like that master said, when the thought disappears, the thinker disappears.
No thought, no thinker.
It echoes the Heart Sutra's famous line, form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. The stillness you find in Zazen isn't separate from the flow of thoughts. Your true self isn't separate from the world. It's all interwoven.
And this connects back to Dōgen's idea.
His truly paradigm-shifting contribution, the non-duality of practice and enlightenment.
Practice is enlightenment.
Zazen isn't a tool you use to achieve some future state of enlightenment. The act of sitting itself, done with sincerity, is the actual living expression of your already present enlightened nature. Right here, right now.
You're embodying Buddha nature just by sitting?
That's the idea. Embodying it in the present moment rather than striving for it as a goal down the road. This points towards what's sometimes called the luminous unborn mind, our pure, clear, aware, original nature, which exists prior to thought.
Like a clear mirror.
Yeah, like a clear mirror reflecting whatever passes, or like the vast open sky that's completely unaffected by the clouds, the thoughts drifting through it. Zazen helps us realize the nature of the mind itself. Empty, luminous, boundless awareness.
Okay, it's definitely clear Zazen offers a unique perspective. But let's put it in context a bit. How does it compare to related practices? We often hear about the two houses of Zen, Suchit and Rinzai.
Right. Suchit and Rinzai. It's helpful to think of them not as rivals, but as different skillful means, or upaya in Sanskrit. Different methods tailored to maybe different temperaments, but ultimately aiming for the same profound realization.
Different doors into the same room.
Something like that, yeah. What's fascinating is how these two main schools, while both rooted in Zazen, approach it differently. Rinzai Zen, which was established in Japan by Eisai, is often known for its rigor, its intensity. It places a strong emphasis on koan introspection.
Koans. The riddles, right?
Yeah.
What is the sound of one hand clapping?
Exactly. Those paradoxical questions or statements, they're designed specifically to exhaust the rational dualistic mind, to push it beyond its limits.
Short-circuit it.
Kind of, to create what they call great doubt, which can then lead to a sudden breakthrough, a flash of insight or awakening. That's called kenshu or satori.
So more dynamic.
Rinzai practice can feel more dynamic, yeah. Often faster walking meditation, kinhin, and in the meditation hall, practitioners typically face each other. Shikantaza is often seen as a more advanced practice in Rinzai.
Okay, and Sucho, founded by Dōgen.
Sucha centers its practice squarely on Shikantaza, that just sitting we talked about. The emphasis is much more on patiently, faithfully embodying the enlightened mind through non-striving awareness.
Non-striving.
Yeah. It's often described as a gradual approach, but not gradual in the sense that enlightenment is far away. It's gradual in that the practice is the continuous expression of the enlightenment that's already present, moment after moment.
And the style is different.
The style feels much more about stillness, very slow, deliberate kinhin. And traditionally, sutra practitioners sit facing a wall. It's called minpeki.
Facing a wall. Interesting. So, quick summary. Rinzai versus Sutra.
You could say Rinzai uses koans to kind of short-circuit the conceptual mind, pushing for a breakthrough. Sucha uses profound stillness, shikantaza, to let the mind naturally settle into its inherent clear nature.
That makes sense. Now, how does Zazen, maybe particularly Shikantaza, compare to other forms of meditation people might know? Like Vipassanā from Theravada Buddhism.
Good question. They share Buddhist roots, but have significant differences in technique and emphasis. Vipassanā means insight. It's generally an analytical form of observation.
Analytical.
Yeah, aimed at understanding directly the three marks of existence: impermanence, anicca, the unsatisfactoriness or suffering, dukkha, and not self, anatta.
How do you do that?
Often you use the breath or bodily sensations as a primary anchor. And a key technique in many Vipassana traditions is mental noting or labeling.
Labeling,
Like silently noting rising, falling with the abdomen, or thinking, hearing, pain whenever something arises in awareness. It cultivates a detached observation. Breath focus is often at the nose tip or the abdomen.
Okay, and Zazen, Shikantaza.
Zazen, especially Shikantaza, is fundamentally objectless in its mature form. While beginners might count breaths, the core practice is this open, non-discriminating awareness without a primary anchor or mental label.
No labeling.
Generally no labeling. The breath awareness, when used, is centered in the lower abdomen, the hara. And philosophically, while Vipassanā aims for insight into the nature of phenomenal experience, impermanence, etc., Zazen aims for a direct, non-conceptual realization of the Absolute One's inherent Buddha nature and the non-dual reality of śūnyatā.
So Zazen is more about being it, Vipassanā more about seeing it, roughly.
That's a simplification, but it points in the right direction. Zazen emphasizes being the already present reality, whereas Vipassanā often involves a more dissecting analysis of experience to understand its characteristics.
Got it. And one more comparison. Secular mindfulness. It's everywhere now, MBSR and things like that.
Right. Secular mindfulness programs like mindfulness-based stress reduction, MBSR, are incredibly valuable tools. They've skillfully adapted Buddhist meditation techniques, particularly from Vipassanā.
But they're different.
The key difference is that they intentionally strip away the original religious and philosophical framework. The goal is usually pragmatic. Stress reduction, better focus, managing anxiety, improving well-being within a secular context.
And Zazen.
Zazen is inseparable from its deep Buddhist philosophical context. It's understood as a complete spiritual path, a do, like judo or kendo away. The aim isn't just stress reduction, though that might happen. It's aimed at ultimate liberation, the profound realization of emptiness, non-duality, the true nature of mind.
So while the techniques might look similar on the surface sometimes,
the underlying view, intention, and ultimate trajectory are quite distinct. Zazen points towards a radical transformation of one's entire understanding of self and reality.
So, okay, you commit to this practice, you sit regularly. What happens beyond the cushion? What are the real-world impacts?
Right, the fruits of practice. Though, importantly, these aren't pursued as goals. They arise more as natural byproducts of consistent sitting.
Makes sense. What kind of things?
Well, on the psychological and physiological side, people consistently report things like reduced stress and anxiety, a greater sense of inner peace, calm. There's evidence for benefits like lowered blood pressure, improved concentration, focus, memory.
And neuroscience is looking at this now too, right?
Absolutely. Modern neuroscience is finding interesting correlations. Things like increased gray matter density in brain areas related to learning, emotional regulation, self-awareness, and maybe reduced activity in the default mode network.
The mind-wandering network.
Yeah, the part often linked to rumination and self-referential, often anxious thought loops. So the subjective reports are starting to get some objective backing.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And beyond the sort of wellness benefits.
There's the deeper spiritual development. Zazen is fundamentally an investigation and clarification of the self. It leads to direct insight into impermanence, interconnectedness, śūnyatā. It cultivates equanimity, meeting life's ups and downs with more balance. And it naturally fosters wisdom, prajna, and compassion.
Wisdom and compassion.
Yeah, seeing things clearly and responding with kindness. Ultimately, it's seen as a path to freedom from the grip of deep-seated fears and reactive desires.
How do you take that off the cushion, though? Into, like, Tuesday afternoon traffic?
Good question. A central Zen principle is bringing the Zendo into the world. The Zendo, the meditation hall, is like a laboratory. The world is the field where you apply what you learned.
Dissolving the boundary.
Exactly. Dissolving the boundary between formal practice and daily life. There's that famous saying, when walking, just walk. When eating, just eat.
Be present with whatever you're doing.
Be fully present. It encourages mindful eating, mindful walking, mindful working, mindful conversations, maintaining that meditative mind, that alert, open, non-judgmental awareness throughout all your activities. Your whole life becomes the practice field.
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also maybe challenging to do alone.
It absolutely is, and the tradition recognizes that, which is why there's such emphasis on the three treasures, or three jewels. The Buddha, the awakened potential, the Dharma, the teachings and the truth, and the Sangha.
Sangha meaning the community?
The community of practitioners, yeah. The roles of a qualified teacher and a supportive community are considered pretty much indispensable on this path.
Why the teacher? Can't you just read Dōgen?
You can read Dōgen, and that's valuable. But a living teacher, often called a rushi or shifu, depending on the lineage, provides correct, personalized instruction. They help you navigate the inevitable challenges and subtle pitfalls of practice.
Like a guide.
Like a guide, and also like a clear mirror, reflecting your state of mind back to you in ways you might not see yourself. Through private interviews called dakusan, or sansen, the teacher offers direct guidance, tests your understanding. It's about direct, personal transmission, not just book learning.
Okay. And the Sangha, the community.
The Sangha is vital for so many reasons. First, sheer support and encouragement. Let's face it, sitting regularly can be hard. The group energy, that sense of shared commitment, positive peer pressure, you could call it, helps keep you going.
Makes sense.
It also becomes a living dharma. Abstract teachings about compassion or non-duality become very real, very concrete when you're interacting with other people in the context of practice, discussions, shared experiences. It brings it to life.
Learning from each other.
And practicing with each other. The community acts as a laboratory for actually living the Buddhist precepts, ethical guidelines in real time. It constantly challenges your egoic patterns, forces you to practice patience, kindness, skillful communication.
Yeah, I can see that.
And finally, it embodies that interconnectedness we talked about. When you sit stably, your presence actually benefits the whole group. You realize your practice isn't just for you, it contributes to the collective atmosphere.
Powerful. So for someone listening, maybe feeling intrigued, wanting to start, what's some practical advice?
Okay, first thing, consistency over duration. Start small, really small if you need to. 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes daily, whatever feels manageable.
Not an hour right away.
Definitely not. Build the habit first. Consistency is way more important than heroic long sits, especially at the beginning. Gradually increase the time as it feels natural.
Okay. What about challenges like legs falling asleep or the mind being totally wild?
Expect them. Physical discomfort, drowsiness, the monkey mind jumping all over, totally normal. Standard issue for humans.
Good to know.
The advice is patience, kindness towards yourself, and non-judgment. Don't beat yourself up. When you notice discomfort or distraction, just acknowledge it, maybe gently adjust your posture if needed, and softly, kindly return your attention to your posture, your breath, or just open awareness. That act of returning is the core practice.
Keep coming back.
Keep coming back. And finally, maybe the most important advice, try to let go of expectations. Cultivate what's called a non-gaining mind.
Non-gaining, meaning don't try to get something out of it.
Exactly. Don't sit down seeking specific feelings like bliss or peace or hoping for some big insight. And those things might happen or they might not. The practice isn't about achieving a goal. It's simply about showing up, taking the posture, and being fully and wholeheartedly present with whatever arises in your experience, moment by moment. Just sit.
Wow. Okay, we have really journeyed deep into Zazen today. We've seen it's this profound, direct path where body, breath, and mind integrate, a way to realize śūnyatā, emptiness, and that non-dual reality. We explored Dōgen's really radical insight that the practice itself is enlightenment, not just a stepping stone.
The key point.
And we've really underscored how important community, the Sangha, and guidance from a teacher can be on this path. It's not necessarily a solo endeavor.
Absolutely crucial elements for sustaining the practice.
So a final thought to leave people with.
Well, Zazen is often called the unmoving gate, a gate you pass through by being still to realize wisdom, compassion, profound freedom. So maybe consider this. How can embodying such stillness in our incredibly fast-paced, constantly moving, distracted world, how can that be a revolutionary act?
Stillness as revolution.
What does it mean for you personally to just sit? To embody that stillness as a direct expression of your own true nature, something to ponder.
Definitely something to ponder. What stands out to you from this deep dive into Zazen? And maybe what's one small way you might cultivate a moment of just sitting, even for a minute, in your own life today?
Good question to carry.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive.